Morning everyone and welcome to day 28 of the 30-day challenge. Thanks again to everyone who sent in their comments yesterday. It was quite good to see that you all got on quite well with it. We're going to continue that sort of theme today in terms of the sort of upper body sort of strengthening, except this time instead of working on the back, we're going to be working on the front. So we're going to be focusing mainly on the chest and the anterior deltoid muscles in the shoulder. Now, as I mentioned yesterday, people do have a tendency to have this sort of kyphotic posture where you sort of round forwards through the upper back, and obviously that limits the range in which your upper back muscles are going to be effective. But also another thing that it does is that it chronically shortens through the chest and the anterior deltoid muscles just here. So from this sort of endless sort of sitting at desks, or running with poor posture, standing with poor posture, etc. So we're going to look at sort of how we can lengthen these out a little bit by strengthening them through a greater range of motion, just as we would with the legs or any other sort of muscle in the body. So think back to sort of how runners tend to only use their hamstrings, glutes, hip flexors, calves, etc. through a very limited range of motion. And remember that analogy I gave with the bicep, you wouldn't do it through that range of motion, you'd want to do it through that range of motion. So this is going to be particularly relevant for any sports that require the upper body, so like throwing, like I mentioned before, where you need that good range of motion coming back, racket-based sports where you need that good range of motion, but also if you do things like lifting and carrying as part of your job, you want these muscles to be quite strong. Or even just everyday tasks like trying to lift something up to the top shelf or something like that. So for this exercise we're going to need the resistance band, but I am going to give you an option without as well. So essentially what we're going to do, we're going to set it up by putting our hand across it like that, and we're going to stand with our arm out like so, with our palm facing down to begin with, and we want the band to be already at a slight stretch as we do this. Now this as well is going to test our sort of core engagement, so again there's an added benefit for everyone sort of there as well. So we want to have a nice upright posture, engage our tummy, engage our glute muscles, and essentially what we're going to do, we're going to use these chest and anterior deltoid muscles, and we're going to bring the band across and down in front of us like that. Okay, so it's good to have maybe a very, very slight bend in the elbow, just so that you don't lock the elbow out like that if you are hypermobile like I am. Okay, and then we're going to slowly return back to our starting position. Okay, so we're going to go down. Okay, and you should really be able to feel these pecs sort of working as you bring it down and in front. So don't just bring it down by your side like that. We want to bring it down and in front, so your arm is actually sort of at about 45-degree angle down there. Okay, so that's level 1. So we're just bringing it down and across and back. Now level 2 is, in order to get a greater range through these muscles, what we want to do is we want to turn our palm upwards. So instead of having it palm face down, we want palm faced up. So that you should feel straight away a bit more sort of lengthening through those pecs and that anterior deltoid just there. Okay, and then what we're going to do, we're just going to start the movements by rotating the palm against the resistance of the band, and then straight away we're going to come back down. Okay, so it's almost like a continuous sort of movement, and then we return to our starting position. So we're going to rotate and then go down. So we're just continuously contracting those muscles through that good range. Of course, as well, we can think about our different muscle contractions. So as we come down, we're obviously shortening, but then we can do that isometric hold for a few seconds, and then we can really slowly come back up to really emphasize that lengthening even more, so that eccentric contraction. Okay, so we're going to rotate and then come down and then back up. Okay, so that's level 2. If you want it harder even still, you can come a bit more forward with the band, so actually your arm is going slightly backwards. Okay, so you're stretching even more through that pec muscle. Okay, and then you do the same thing again, so you rotate and then you come down, hold, and then slowly back up. Okay, so rotate and down. And this third set in particular, you should really be able to feel it in that shoulder and in the pec as well. So obviously keep that core engaged, because we are sort of using our obliques a little bit, so we don't want the resistance of the band to sort of pull us this way. Okay, so make sure you stay nice and planted. Okay, so there are your 3 options. If you don't yet have a resistance band, then you can just use some sort of weight. So again, you can start off doing the same sort of things again. So just bring the weight up and then do the exercise. So you're coming down, or obviously the rotational one as well. So obviously don't start too heavy. You want, a weight that is comparable to the sort of resistance band resistance. Okay, and then you can obviously do the 3 again. Okay, but I would probably think that the resistance band is probably the better option for this one. Okay, so see how you get on. Remember to like, comment, share to your friends. Not long to go now, only 2 days left after today.